Everything is so terrible. Save your time and money. Food and rides are not good. There are so many more enjoyable things to do in life than stand in line and eat horrible food. Well, I'm right there with you, Lynn. That's why today I've compiled a list of the very worst restaurants in Disney's Hollywood Studios, and I'm getting right to the source to see if they're really that bad. Now, obviously, there is some amazing food at Disney World, but let's be real here. It's not all going to be amazing. So that's where I come in. After reading countless Yelp reviews, I've compiled a list of the absolute worst restaurants in the park and plan to put my stomach through the agony of trying all of this awful food. Rosie's All-American Cafe has the lowest rating in the park with a pitiful 2.6 out of 5 stars. So I figured we should start here. Here's what Terrence C. had to say in his 1-star review of Rosie's. Food was okay, but made me extremely sick. I had to keep on running to the bathroom afterwards. Line was not good either. The mobile order took a long time. Disney isn't great food-wise. Down with the mouse. Greg F. says, decided to try due to limited mobile options at Hollywood Studios. The bun was stale, burger tasted like cardboard, and they even messed up the fries. I would not recommend this place for any reason and walk to the other side of the park. And here's one of the more intense reviews from Rachel G. She goes on to say how horrified she is from the service she received here. And once she broke into her chicken nuggets, her experience only got worse. She found slimy brown things that seemed to be like old coagulated blood, or the nuggets were so chewy because of the cartilage. And she even threw in some photos here, and I do have to say, these nuggets aren't looking too hot. But believe it or not, I found some reviews of a menu item that sounded even worse than those nuggets. Corey P. also says, the lobster roll, just don't. After looking it up post throwing it away, my girlfriend and I discovered that it is a vegan option. Nowhere does the menu board state that it is such, which led to utter disappointment that we felt. We tried feeding a piece to the surrounding birds and not even they would eat it. If I could give it 0 stars, I would, but since we can't, it's a 1. With that being said, here we have the plant-based lobster roll. It has marinated hearts of palm, celery, sweet apples, and a creamy Old Bay dressing served with house-made crispy potato chips. And Corey, I'm not quite sure what you're talking about because on the menu, at least today, it clearly states that it is plant-based. So knowing that going in, let's see just how bad this is. And before anyone says anything, I confirmed with them multiple times that the hearts of palm are actually tossed in a hummus, not an aioli here. Although it really looks like an aioli, which is why I'm having a little bit of trouble even looking at this dish here. And she's thick, so I'm not even sure the right way to go about this. It's coming off of my hand. Okay, let's do it. I'm kind of trying to process everything that's going on right now. I want to try a piece of this hearts of palm without the bread. I mean, I expected this to taste absolutely nothing like lobster. And while it definitely doesn't taste quite there, it tastes a little bit more like lobster than I would have thought. Okay, maybe not lobster, but a general seafoody kind of flavor. And maybe that's because the hearts of palm, I'm assuming they've been pickled a little bit. I definitely taste a lot of vinegar. I will say the bread is super, super weak here. This roll is way too thick. It's not as kind of crusty and fresh as I would like it to be. But overall, I have to say, I expected this to be a lot worse than it actually is. The dressing that the heart of palm is mixed in is very creamy and it has a distinct kind of paprika-y flavor. I also get a little bit of the vinegariness from the hearts of palms themselves coming through. There's some nice lettuce in here, which is giving it a little bit of a crunch. The roll is really the weak part of this sandwich here. The roll is very, very bready and doesn't taste very fresh. It's not very crisp on the outside, and then it's a little bit stale on the inside. And like I said, it's way, way, way too much bread. But maybe if we eliminate the bread, this would be a little bit better. Okay, yeah, this is definitely the way to eat this. Grab some of that lobster salad and put it on the chips because the chips are far better than the roll and they give it a good crunch. If they made this into a plant-based nacho on these chips, I mean, as a non-vegan, would I ever get this again? definitely not. But if I were a vegan, I would imagine this is not the worst of options for you. I definitely don't think it's as bad as some of these Yelpers thought it was. The bread isn't the best, but the actual hearts of palm filling on the inside, not bad. Now on to stop number 2, which is Fairfax Fare, and luckily for us, we don't have to move far. Fairfax Fare is right next to Rosie's. I want to say it's been about a year since Fairfax Fare kind of changed up the menus. They always used to have hot dogs, and then about a little over a year ago, they introduced a new menu item that has taken over the menu, and it might be one of the strangest, most unnecessary dishes in all of Disney World. They have all of these waffle cone bowls filled with like mashed potatoes and meat and all. The waffle cone bowl is so beyond unnecessary. I am really not the biggest fan. I know they have like a buffalo chicken one, a brisket one, a pork belly one. They're just really not that good. And apparently a lot of you guys agree because Fairfax Fare has a 3.4 out of 5 star rating. Julie B says, the lady was very rude. So much ice in my mermaid juice that my family wanted to try. There wasn't even room to put boba on top, and I even asked politely if she could just take a couple of cubes out, and she said, no, I can't. Filled it with barely any juice. We had about 3 sips worth of juice. Bowls are super tiny with barely any meat, mostly potatoes. I agree with that. Don't go here. So many nicer places to go at Disney. Keep walking, folks. You tell them, Julie. And then we've got Amber here, who says, sounded like a fun food concept and opted for the soba noodles and added the plant-based chicken. For starters, I received 3 tiny pieces of chicken that I could have eaten in one bite. When I bit into the noodles, they were disgustingly sweet and oversauced. I tried mixing it, thinking all the sauce was at the bottom, but when I tilted the bowl, it looked like I poured out half a bottle of sauce. I'm really disappointing and don't recommend this place at all. Well, Amber, even though you didn't recommend it, I'm taking your suggestion and trying the plant-based soba noodle bowl with the plant-based chicken. I've never tried this bowl before, so we're just going from one plant-based thing to the next here on Sunset Boulevard. Let's go try it. Here we have the plant-based soba noodle salad bowl with chicken. This has chilled soba noodles, edamame, red cabbage, red peppers, shredded carrots, celery, and green onions, tossed in a yakisoba sauce and served in a waffle bowl. Okay, this is kind of giving me Ohana noodle vibes. I'm sure it's not going to quite be on that level, but who knows? We shall see. I also opted to add the plant-based chicken onto this. I wanted to get a bite of this first. Oh my god, that is so disgusting. At first, I was like, wait, that actually kind of does have the same like texture as chicken, but it tastes like stale, rotten cardboard. Oh my god, I wish I got some water to get that taste out of my mouth. Well, I don't know if that chicken is made out of like soy or tofu or what, but now let's try some of these noodles here with the veggies. You know how when you have like a packet of like cup of noodles or something and you don't cook the noodles enough so they're still like hard? That's kind of what I'm getting here. The consistency and texture of these noodles is so off. And while they're somehow like still tough and hard when you bite into them, somehow, I don't know how, they are so mushy once you kind of like really start chewing. This is pretty awful. I don't hate the sauce. The sauce here isn't too bad. It's just everything else. I want to try a bite with the chicken and the noodles here. I imagine this is going to be just... As someone who tends to love vegan meat substitutes, I mean, this chicken is just god-awful. It is really, really bad, and I see what you guys are saying about the amount of sauce in here. I'm kind of getting to the bottom, and there is just a pool of sauce on the bottom. I mean, the chicken's bad, the noodles are bad. Don't mind the sauce. I like all of the fresh veggies in here. There's some really good pieces of like edamame, carrots, and red peppers, but overall, man, this is surely a miss. For $14.49, the portion of this dish is insanely small. Just like you guys said, they're not putting enough of that plant-based chicken on here, or maybe they are because it's so bad you won't want to eat the rest of it. But there's just not enough food here to justify an almost $15 price tag. I mean, you could buy so many other better things that are way more filling for that price. And once again, what purpose does this waffle bowl serve? Who is actually like eating this and who thinks this goes together good? Because it doesn't go together whatsoever. It's just pointless. Just put it in a regular bowl. Amber and Julie, you were right. I should have listened to you. This, although we've only tried 2 things, this very well might be the worst thing we eat today. All right, it is on to stop number 3, which is going to be ABC Commissary, coming in with a score of 3.1 out of 5 stars. And you guys seem to really, really hate this place. Glenn M says, this place is worse than McDonald's. Had a very dry club sand, no flavor. I will defiantly not spend my money for this place. And here's what David I had to say. For a company that prides itself on offering a magic experience, they sure missed the mark today. We were at the cashier and asked how we could buy a souvenir cup of BB-8. The cashier said, buy this drink and the cup comes with it. My 12-year-old really wanted the cup as a souvenir. We ordered the drink for a ridiculous price. We wait for the food, have a normal plastic cup with a sushi. We point out that we were supposed to get the BB-8 cup. The person handing out the food says we didn't order it correctly, even though it was the cashier's fault. It was keyed in incorrectly. Well, isn't that unfortunate for you, David? And yes, I did order this cup for $15 for that one, just to make a joke because I thought I was funny. And I really don't want this. So now I have to walk around with this for the rest of the day. But I figured I might as well give it away since I'm not a Star Wars fan. So the drink is in the cup. I will not be shipping you the straw. I am sorry. You will not be getting the straw. They had no other straws, so I had to use it for the joke. But if you want to win this little BB-8 souvenir cup in honor of David, you now have the chance to do so. All you have to do to win this little beauty here is comment down below what you think the worst restaurant in Hollywood Studios is. It could be a quick service restaurant, a table service restaurant, whatever you think the worst restaurant is, let me know down below in the comments. You also have to be subscribed to me here on YouTube, and you have to be following me over on Instagram. My handle is just the same as on here, right down Main Street. On Sunday, September 22nd, I will be picking a random commenter to win. I will be checking to make sure you subscribe to me on YouTube and you follow me on Instagram. I will comment under your comment to shoot me a message on Instagram. I'll ask for your address and stuff so I can get it sent over. And yeah, that's all you have to do. Just comment your least favorite restaurant, the worst restaurant in the park. And David, if you're watching, I wish you the best of luck. But on to the food, and Cynthia helped me decide exactly what I'm getting from here at ABC Commissary. She says a bunch of stuff, and then she goes on to say, my shrimp tacos were some of the grossest shrimp tacos I've ever had. Tortilla was flour, I prefer corn, hard and cold. The shrimp had absolutely no flavor or seasoning to it, even with the salsa they provided. It was no help. Only saving grace was the rice. How sad. This would have been a 1 star if it wasn't for my boyfriend who enjoyed the Mediterranean salad. I had a few bites of it. It was fine. Better than the shrimp tacos for sure. So that being said, we are going to indulge in some shrimp tacos. And these are the shrimp tacos from ABC Commissary. They have sauteed shrimp on flour tortillas, topped with cabbage slaw, chipotle mayo, and mango salsa, served with Mexican rice and black beans, topped with queso fresco. Okay, can we just talk about how this was supposed to have mango salsa, but it clearly just has like regular pico, and it was also supposed to have a cabbage slaw, but it clearly just has shredded cabbage. And then also the shrimp, there ain't no seasoning on that. I could tell you that for free. There is no salt, no pep, no paprika, nothing. That looks like the saddest shrimp I ever saw. And upon picking up this tortilla here, I can tell you they just pulled this straight out of the package. They didn't even bother to warm up the tortilla or anything. It is definitely hard and not warmed up. Let's try it. I want to get a bite with this super unseasoned shrimp. This has absolutely no flavor whatsoever. And you know how when you kind of buy a packet of tortillas at home and you leave them out for a little bit, like too long or whatever, and they get hard around the outside? That's kind of exactly what this tortilla here is. This shrimp tastes like absolutely nothing. Like I suspected, there is no salt, no pepper. It is bland, it is boring, This is just overall a very sad taco. Some of the rice here. Some of the rice with the beans. Yeah. The rice tastes exactly like those packets of like pre-cooked rice, pre-cooked Mexican rice that you buy at the grocery store. That's not good. The beans are so goopy. I'm sorry, this meal is real bad. Cynthia, I should have listened to you. I'm sorry I didn't listen to your Yelp review, but David, thank you, because at least now I got a Diet Coke out of this. On the way to our next stop, we are walking by the Sci-Fi Dine-In restaurant, which in my opinion is probably tied for the worst restaurant in Hollywood studios. But I just went there recently and had an absolutely awful burger, so I figured I would spare myself and you guys from watching me eat there again, because I already know it's awful. And I hate to say it, but it's probably my least favorite restaurant in the park. Anyways, let's continue on to Pizzerizzo. Pizzerizzo gets 3.5 stars over on Yelp, and Michael L. says, the first word that comes to mind when thinking about Pizzerizzo is garbage. Do not ever give that rat any of your money. The only thing that can save this place would be if Disney were to change it back to Pizza Planet. That rat is definitely not a chef, and it becomes very obvious as you take your first bite of pizza. It is quite unfortunate that Disney had to make the biggest mistake in the history of the park by taking away the greatest pizza establishment known to man, Pizza Planet. But the damage has already been done, and there's no turning back now. But if you are looking for good pizza, Via Napoli and Epcot is the way to go. Michael, die-hard Pizza Planet fan. You're very, very passionate, and I'm a little scared. But Catherine L. also does not like this place. She says, this place should be shut down. My pepperoni pizza was completely raw dough, not undercooked, raw dough. Well, I've had the pizza recently as well, and I can tell you, it wasn't raw when I got it, but it certainly wasn't good. So I dug a little deeper and found this review from Jamie M. She says, do not eat here. Try any other restaurant. The meatball sub was just meatballs and bread. There was no sauce at all. Complete waste of money. Everyone we were with got pizzas, and those were burnt. Just eat anywhere else. Well, Jamie, just for you and your 1-star review of Pizzerizzo, I am getting a meatball sub. Here we have the meatball sub from Pizzerizzo. It's a hoagie roll stuffed with seasoned meatballs and smothered in marinara sauce and provolone, served with a salad. And Jamie, I am very sorry to say, but my sub did come with some sauce and some cheese, so I don't know how yours only came with bread and balls. And after cutting into this, I must say, this looks quite delicious. We've got 4 pretty decently sized meatballs on there. They definitely look to be seasoned pretty well. I see plenty of sauce, plenty of cheese on there. And this roll, this is, I'm pretty sure, the same roll that they used for the plant-based lobster roll, except it's toasted. So it's nice and crispy on the outside and super soft and warm on the inside. Let's dig into this. I don't know what you guys are talking about because this looks good. Hate to say it, Jamie, but I'm a fan of this meatball sub. Wow. The provolone on here is abundant. The meatballs themselves are good. The meatballs at Pizzerizzo are better than the meatballs that they're serving for the Food and Wine Festival at the Italy booth. Those are some of the saddest meatballs I've ever eaten in my life. And I'm sure these are frozen as well, but the quality of them is definitely better. And then we've got that really, really nice bread. I can't hate on this. It's pretty solid. It's definitely better than the pizzas that they're serving at Pizzerizzo here. I also really enjoy the plant-based Italian sausage sandwich that they have here. And this meatball sub, I mean, maybe the sandwiches are the way to go here at Pizzerizzo. So, not the pizzas, because apparently they're raw and uncooked, but I don't think they actually are. That's just what some of you guys say. But man, the sandwiches here. Rizzo the Rat, you've done it again. Comes with a little Caesar salad here. Guys, I can't be mad at this meal. Pizzerizzo is not the worst restaurant in Hollywood studios. I've had far worse today, for sure. Well guys, with that meatball sub, it is time to head to our final restaurant of the day. This is not just any restaurant. I believe this restaurant is one of, if not the worst restaurant in all of Disney World. I am talking about Mama Melrose's, and luckily for me, a lot of you guys agree that it is one of the worst restaurants in Hollywood Studios, at least, because you gave it 3.6 stars on Yelp. So we're gonna head in and I'll read you some of the reviews in there. All right, now that we're all settled in, let's get to some of these 1-star reviews. Taylor H says, I ate the mozzarella sticks and threw up twice due to it being so greasy. Then they tried to compensate by giving me ice cream as well as made my party sick from the grease. Lastly, the Alfredo tore my friend's stomach up. So a lot of stomach issues in this review. Carol M says, sadly, this restaurant has become one of the worst places to eat at Hollywood Studios. I agree. We've eaten better pizza at counter service. Come for the air conditioning and cute seating. Edgar S says, how on earth do people leave this restaurant anything but 1 star? The food is terrible and it's wildly overpriced. To be honest, the service was friendly and attentive, but I can't get over the fact that the meatballs had clearly been cooked in a deep fryer. But I think my favorite of the reviews comes from Papa G. He says, Mama Melrose's is low-grade dog food. Avoid at all costs. Fried cheese, meatball, chicken parm, and steak were all cold and unevenly cooked. The steak still had marks where the jockey had been beating it. Disney should be ashamed to serve a sit-down product on par with Chef Boyardee. Making these poor servers wear a black vest and bow tie is beyond insulting. Elegantly written. But with all that being said, I am using Jory P's review to decide what I'm ordering here at Mama Melrose's today. They say completely overpriced generic Italian food. Spaghetti and meatballs is usually a favorite of mine, but this place was like having noodles and ketchup. Do not waste your money. Go find something cheaper and edible. You'll be happy you did. Well, I might not be happy that I did because I got the spaghetti and meatballs. And I am not kidding you. My food came out less than 2 minutes after I ordered it. My server actually didn't even have time to bring me bread before my food was already at the table, which is never a good sign. When food comes out this quick, you just know it's been sitting in a warmer for God knows how long, because I'm not kidding you, it was under 2 minutes. With that being said, I have very, very low hopes for this dish, but let's try some of this pasta here. The pasta isn't cooked awfully. It's nearly al dente. You can tell that the water it was cooked in was salted, so it gives it a good salty flavor. The sauce, though, I mean, the sauce tastes no different than some Prego or some ragu from a jar. Like, there is no way this is house-made marinara like they're claiming. And I absolutely hate when places just like plop a spoonful of sauce on top of the pasta instead of like actually tossing it together with like some pasta water and, you know, just like incorporating everything. Like, you just scooping a ladle of sauce on top of pasta is just so unimpressive, especially when I'm paying nearly $30 for this dish. But let's get into these meatballs here, and I will say they do look exactly the same as the meatballs that I just ate a couple of minutes ago over at Pizzerizzo. I don't know if they've got the same supplier or what, but they were very, very tough to cut into. Well, that's all on that. The meatballs are so hard and so tough, and I bit down on something that was very, very crunchy and felt like it was a popcorn kernel. Well, that was certainly an interesting end to this worst restaurant at Disney World video. I mean, I don't remember the last time. I don't know if I've ever had to spit something out on camera, but that might have been a first, and I'm not surprised it happened at Mama Melrose. But with that, we have successfully eaten at the worst restaurants in Disney World, at least in Hollywood Studios. I would say the two worst, in my opinion, have to be Fairfax Fare and Mama Melrose. I mean, that soba noodle dish with the chicken was almost inedible, and I really, really disliked my spaghetti and meatballs from Mama Melrose. I actually have never really had anything that I fully enjoy there, so those gotta be the bottom two. Remember, if you guys want to win the BB-8 sipper featured in this video, and I'm going to throw in some Right Down Main Street beverage stickers, leave me a comment below letting me know what you think the worst restaurant in Hollywood Studios is. Make sure you're subscribed to me here and following me over on Instagram. Shout out to all of my Patreon subscribers for supporting the channel. You guys rock. And thank you to all of you guys for watching. If you want to see more honest Disney food reviews, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I shall see you next time. Bye.